Good evening, everyone. As part of Success Talks, we are connecting many people and we are gathering their successes. Today, I am with Vijay Kumar Mamidi. He is a PMP certified. He is a pharmacist. He has. He is working currently. He is working one of the greatest company and the greatest vaccine, which is called as a Pfizer. And Pfizer is the greatest vaccine in the US. Now, Pfizer India, he is working as a project manager. Today, we are collecting information from him, how he has developed, how he has improved himself career-wise and all. We both together stayed in one of the hostel called KVS Hostel. There, I know him personally, how dedicatedly he studied and all. So let me introduce. First of all, good evening, Vijay Garu, for accepting our proposal and sharing your views. And start with your career, where you studied.
Good evening, Mr. Gupta. Thanks for the opportunity. So, coming to my background, I will just give you 2 minutes of my background so that you understand like from where I started and currently what I am doing. So, basically, I am from Andhra Pradesh. So, from Krishna district, in a village called Gudivada in Krishna district. So, I started my education in Gudivada. Then I moved on to Vijayawada for higher education. So I did my B Pharmacy from Siddhartha College of Pharmacy, Vijayawada, and then moved on to Andhra University, Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences, where I did my master's in pharmacy, in pharmacology specialization. So after that, after my education, it is almost like more than 15 years I have been into the pharmaceutical industry. So currently, I am working as a senior manager in project management department at Pfizer, located at Visakhapatnam. So before that, before moving into the project management, I worked as a scientist for 8 years on drug discovery, various drug discovery programs in Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, and Biocon. So currently, I'm associated with Pfizer. Sorry, you are on mute, Gupta Garu. You are on mute.
Yeah, I'm very glad you worked as a scientist. I'm very glad and worked in the very greatest companies like Reddy's and all. So yeah, how did you pursue B Pharmacy and how did you join? Just explain about it.
Yeah, so that's an interesting story. So basically, my father is a pharmaceutical distributor. So all the way right from my childhood, I have been grown up in and around the pharmacy people. So basically, some of my relatives own many pharmacies, and my father, he himself is a pharmaceutical distributor. So right from the beginning, from the childhood, I see medicines. Right from the shop, I used to go to my dad's shop. I used to be there. We used to sell medicines, right? So I grew up in the pharmacy store. So some kind of interest I have developed right from the childhood towards medicines. So how these are made, how these work in the human body. Because when you have a headache, you take a tablet and you take the tablet through mouth and it goes into the stomach. Then how did the headache goes away? How is it going to the head? So these are different kinds of doubts I used to have from the childhood. So when after my plus two, when I got an opportunity to pursue with either engineering or pharmacy, actually, that created interest and in taking up the pharmacy. So that way I have taken pharmacy as one of my graduation subject. So I did my B Pharm in Siddhartha College, as I said. So even in during my studies, because of this interest which I had in knowing about drugs, what I used to do even in the first year, I used to read about the books of second year and third year subjects, just because of curiosity. Because what happens in pharmacy, generally you have some advanced topics only in the third year or fourth year. But when I joined the first year, along with the first year, I used to read the second year and third year books to understand more. I used to spend days in the libraries after the classes just to understand like how the drugs are acting in the body, how is each drug, like we have a subject called pharmacology. So the pharmacology is all about like how the drugs act in the body basically. So it's a wonderful subject which I like most, and that's what I have taken as a specialization even in my M Pharmacy. Okay, so I completed 4 years of B Pharmacy, and I wrote a GATE examination which we used to have sometime before, and now I guess it is a GPAT. So I got a 99.08 percentile score in GATE with All India rank of 79. So I am offered seat in various universities. I choose to take Andhra University for my post graduation. So that's how my journey has started with the pharmacy, right from the childhood, being in the store, medical store with my father, and then we have some uncles who used to work in the drug control department as associate director of drug controller. So we used to have so many people in and around me who are related to the pharmacy, so which has triggered interest in me. So that's how. So I did my master's in pharmacology from Andhra University, and from there on, I got a campus placement, and I joined as a scientist in Advenus Therapeutics in the year 2006. So from 2006 to 2015, it's almost 2021. It's almost like 15 years. I have been into the pharmaceutical industry in various roles. I started my career as a drug discovery scientist, then slowly moved on to the project management. I was managing biology, toxicology verticals, and complete new product development for various advanced markets like the US, Canada, and European Union.
Okay, let me go into your career, starting of your education time. You said that you used to study third year and second year books and all that. I really impressed about the word. You are telling the best. Any student having interest, you go on this second year books and done. So how it helps in your career? I mean, like when you are writing GATE and all, how it helped us? I mean, how it helped you and all? Please explain to yours.
Sure. So definitely, it's all about the interest rather than what people say hard work, hard work. So rather than hard work, I believe in smart work and exploring your interest basically. If I feel that I need to study, I may not be able to study, but since I am having interest to know more about the drugs and pharmacy related subjects, it's like it created interest, and I never felt that it's a hard work I'm doing. I used to read a lot of books sitting in the library. I used to get the books from the library and used to spend a lot of time. So I never felt it as an hard work or something I need to study. I used to spend a lot of hours reading the books, understanding the subject. So that's how it helped me crack the GATE examination, or how it helped me in my post graduation. Yeah, sorry, 1 second. Can we just keep on mute?
Yeah. Yeah, you can start. And in,
Yeah,
I mean,
we can
college days,
continue.
what kind of books you used to study? Can you describe them books? And even if you by career, now right now, if you remember that, you can quote that, or else you can say that what kind of books student can refer.
Yeah, see, actually, there are a few books which we generally, as a students, the lecturers recommend. There are many pharmacology related and pharmaceutics and physical pharmacy books, but I don't remember the exact names of those books. But obviously, there are very good books which the professors would be recommending as a part of our curriculum. So I used to go through those books. Yeah.
So next,
Now, one more thing what I want to add is it was like around 2000 to 2004 is when I did my BPharm. So that time the penetration of internet is not very much the way we had now. Now you have the privilege of lot many websites and lot many YouTube videos, right? So now the current generation who is doing their studies in BPharm or MPharm, they have the access to a lot of literature which was not available that time. So it is very easy for them to go and get whatever the kind of interest they have. They can go and search it and download it and see it. So that way, it was they are very lucky. In fact,
yeah, true. That is
current
absolutely
generation.
true. Yeah, true.
So it's up to their interest. There is no boundary for that. How much they can learn, right? So it's up to them. Yeah.
So next, in case of career, I mean, like career-wise, what do you suggest, and if you whatever from your experience you wanted to share with the coming upcoming M-Pharmacy or B-Pharmacy guys, what can I mean by having 20 years of experience, you might have got some experience, right? Can you please share those experience with the M-Pharmacy and B-Pharmacy students?
Sure, definitely. So after B.Pharm, people will have the option to pursue their higher education in India, or they can go to abroad. They can write GRE. They can go abroad and they can do their MS in other countries. Yeah. So what I saw that actually pharmacy is a subject where it is having a much better chances in career when they are moving out of the country rather than staying within the country. I'm not saying that they don't have a good future in India, but definitely it's a very wide subject which is very widely accepted throughout the country, and the other countries, advanced countries, are in very much need of pharmacy graduates. So what I suggest people is uh, don't confine yourself to only education in India. If you have the opportunity, you please try explore outside also. So there is a lot many opportunities outside. So you can do your MS and you can get into your research, or you can go into manufacturing, or you can go into there are a number of opportunities. So in India also you have opportunities, but again they are limited because Indian R&D is not much advanced as the other countries R&D. So nowadays there are a few contract research organizations which are coming up, which are doing very good research. But obviously, when you want to be in R&D, try exploring going outside to US, Canada, Australia, European Union. You can go and explore, right? So once you do your MS, there will be a lot of opportunities. So if you want to look into India, yes, there are a lot number of universities now. The infrastructure has improved a lot compared to 20 years or 25 years back, and that will definitely help you. So you can go into R&D, you can go into education, you can go into manufacturing, you can go into drug regulatory authorities. There are a number of opportunities.
Okay. Here I wanted to emphasize I mean, more clarity on this. If somebody wanted to go R&D and all, how they have to approach, can you brief that? And if somebody wanted to go for jobs, what is the approach they have to follow it?
So one approach what I can suggest you is, as a part of your M.Pharm in the second year, you will be doing your work, project work. So you can start approaching to the industries, and you can ask for internships in the industries or R&D centers. You can ask. So generally, many of the R&D centers, they take interns, they give the training, and they help their in thesis work as well. So they can use that facility, and they can improve their exposure to the R&D. So in general, what happens is the Indian academic institutions, they have a budget constraints. They may not be having all the advanced equipment in the laboratories. So in such cases, actually the students can approach to the R&D labs for internship, and they can get into them, and where they have a very advanced equipment. The industry, since they have a lot number of budget for R&D, they have advanced instruments. So the students can get trained on them, and they will have a better prospects of job opportunities. So they can continue in the same R&D lab, or they can explore outside as well. So I suggest that during your post-graduation itself, you try to approach industries for internship and do your project work in collaboration with the industries. So you can take the guidance from your professors, your alumni, or you can directly reach out to the various networks. You can network with people through LinkedIn, and you can directly approach to the people, and you can ask them and for an internship, and you can try to improve your exposure. So that's one suggestion or feedback I have.
So here, I mean, like here, you are saying that approach, right? Approach to the LinkedIn and all. If in case any rural area people like and Addanki, Prakasam district, Ongole, there are students from Ongole also. They may not be aware of fully about how they can reach out. So can you please describe more and the link, how they can approach, how they can reach out and all? That will it will help
Yeah,
for them.
of course. Exactly. What you said is right. So you will have your seniors or alumni who has already settled or who has been working in different industries. So what I say is at least take the advantage of that. Reach out to your professors, get their contacts, reach out to them on phone. First, you reach out to them on phone, you talk to them, you express your interest, you build up that bond, and you tell your requirement and you ask for the support. That this is my current situation and this is my aspiration. This is where I want to be, and I need your support. Can I have you as my mentor? And can you guide me? You can always reach the student if he has interest. He can always reach out to the alumni who is working in various industries, and they can use that
Okay.
experience. Yeah.
Thank you. And in case I know that you might be, I mean, you have completed in the project management and you are in very senior positions. Suppose if any new candidate B Farms completed or M Farms completed person has come for the interviews, what kind of things you are going to look after from the student? Can you please highlight the points?
Yeah, obviously. So I have been interviewing people, uh, and the kind of observation what I have is don't limit yourself to the academic background. So you need to be confident. You need to be have a better exposure. Don't limit yourself. Now you have internet available on phone. So please expand your knowledge base. Please expand your knowledge base, and the kind of interview you are attending, you understand what the role seeks from you, understand what is the requirement, and you improve your subject in that particular area. And it would be better if you go the attend the interview with confidence and with some kind of preparation. So it should not be limited to whatever the only academics you have all gone through. So that's what one recommendation, and be confident in whatever you are saying. So obviously, when you are a fresher, obviously the employers will not be looking at the kind of knowledge, what experience people will be having. So as a fresher, what they will be expecting is you basic understanding of the subject and how confident are you. The rest of the thing can be learned on the job training. As you go, continue to work with your seniors in the industry, you will obviously learn that. So be confident, know the basics, know the fundamentals, and then you can crack the interview.
Mr. Vijay, when you joined the research associated in ADME and PK, do you at that time you are a newly joined person, right? Do you have any experience when you joined? How you come across that
Yeah.
what you call it, job phase and all?
So when I started my career, actually, it's a campus placement. So I never approached any industry for a job. It's a campus placement. They have come when I was doing my second year of post graduation. They have come to the campus. They have interviewed a lot many candidates, and they have released the offer for me when I was doing my post graduation. That's how I got the first placement, and that's how. Actually, in my case, I did not reach out to many industries. In fact, it's a campus placement. But in fact, I know many of my friends who could not clear the campus placement, but definitely because of from their network, they have approached industries. They have applied for various positions, and they could clear them.
So when you joined as a research associate, first year, do you got any experiences in the job wise? I'm asking. Yeah, you are from the pharmacy. Need not to highlight any secrets in the company. We just highlight in the career wise or seniors. How do you mingle with them? Those kind of things. If you have anything, please share with our students and viewers.
Definitely, sure. So I started my career as an assistant research scientist. So as an assistant research scientist, I am into ADME department, which says like absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. So maybe other people may find it difficult, but pharmacy graduates will immediately catch what I'm saying. So it's like how once a drug is taken into the body, how it is getting absorbed into the body, how is it is getting metabolized, how it is getting excreted. So it's all about that. So I was doing preclinical trials and in vitro ADME studies. So we used to conduct experiments on animal models. So you must be seeing in pictures, right? Rabbits, rats, dogs. So that's what I was working on. I was working on the rodents and dog section. So it was very interesting actually. So to understand what I am working was a new chemicals which were never approved into the market.
Okay, how do
And
you do it? I mean, like, out of my interest, I'm asking, how do you give it? You give it directly animals, and how is it?
yes, first of all, we develop a method, analytical method to analyze the drug from blood, plasma, or whatever the fluid. Okay, once we have the analytical method, then what we do, we select the animal model and we administer the drug as a
Okay.
suspension or a solution.
Okay.
Okay, and we collect the blood samples from the animal at defined periodic intervals, and we test those blood samples in the equipment, analytical equipment, to see the concentration, to understand at what interval what is the concentration of the drug in the body. And we used to study the metabolism rate, how fast it is getting excreted, what are the metabolites that are being formed, and whether this drug will stay in the body for sufficient time or is it getting metabolized very fast. So these kind of work we used to do on the NCEs. NCE is called new chemical entity, which we first time, even before going into the clinical trial. Clinical trial, you must be knowing, right? Dosing in the humans. So even before you go to the human clinical trial, you will do a lot of efficacy studies, toxicology studies, ADME studies in animal models. So that's how it goes. It's a process, right from the lab to the market. It's a very drug discovery process. So each step, it's synthesized in the lab, then tested in the lab, tested in the animals, then it goes for the clinical trials, testing in the humans, then apply for approvals to the US FDA, Indian agencies, European agencies, and then it moves into the market. So it's a big process of developing a new drug. It's almost like a 10-year process with the $2 billion investments.
Okay. That's nice. You joined the Synergy, right? Synergy as a project manager. How did you improve your job from one level associate research into Synergy level? How did you move on, and how did you change your job and all? If you can share with that.
Yeah, actually, that's an interesting journey, moving from a scientist to project management manager. So not many people would be doing that, and one way it's like a daring decision which I have taken to completely leave the scientist job and move into a project manager shows. So basically, I was having interest. I was doing a lot of experiments, and my area was very confined area, and I'm not getting exposure to what is happening beyond my research to that particular drug. So that's what I started exploring. No, I want to understand. I'm doing my experiments. I'm giving the data. Then the data, the manager or the head or the principal scientist is verifying the data and is again handing the data to some other person. So I'm not getting exposure beyond that. So what I thought, instead of doing a PhD, I thought I want to go into a management where I can see like how many drugs are there in the pipeline, like what is the fate of each drug, which molecule. So I want to increase my exposure and I want to contribute in a much better way. So that's why I made the shift from a scientist to a project manager. But I'm not saying that scientist is something less or project management is something more. It's a two different kind of areas actually. So that science is very interesting, but project management is a very difficult job. Getting projects done on time and delivering the product into the market is also equally interesting, as well as a lot of responsibility you will have.
Okay.
So my career shift happened about 8 years as a scientist. So my career shift from a scientist to project manager has happened. So once I moved into the project management, I was managing the programs right from ideation to the launch in the markets. So it includes the complete R&D cycle.
Oh, that's great. That's great, Vijay. Really, I'm proud of you. And I wanted to ask you one thing. Being a scientist, they lost all air, but your air is increasing day by day.
No. I too lost a lot of hair, but not because of science or anything. So it's like how people projected scientists from long time. If you see in movies or in some other thing, that's the way people have projected. Otherwise, scientists are not like bald-headed people. So it happens. Yeah.
Okay, just for joke.
So once you become a senior scientist and senior person, obviously you lose hair, right?
Yeah.
Because of age. That's how people used to look. Yeah. It's not like scientists will have bald head.
And I mean, like being a scientist, I wanted to ask in the first year research, if somebody wanted to do their research in the starting of their BM Pharmacy, B Pharmacy time, how they can do it? If you can highlight those points, also it's good. I mean, like, is it possible for them to do any small research and doing it at homes and improving that culture of?
See, there are a few things. I don't call them as a research. You can experiment at home as well. See, there are a few drugs which are in color in nature. When you take a few drugs, actually your urine comes in a different color, right? So sometimes you take some drug, you see your urine color changing into red, your urine color changing into a different color.
Correct.
So that's a kind of experiment or experience. You take the drug, it is going into the body, it is getting distributed into the blood and throughout the body, right? And then it is going into the kidneys, and through kidneys it is getting excreted as a urine, right? So that's a observation, or that's a kind of experiment you can do. You can take a safe a drug which is having some kind of color, inherent color, and you see you are taking the drug through mouth and your urine is changing, the color of your urine is changing. So that's a different experiment which you do. When it comes to the research, actual research happens in your masters. In BPharm also you do a lot of experiments, but I don't think you can call them as a research. So in a MPharm, you can, yes, you have a project work which you will be doing a small research, developing new analytical methods, or studying different plants, studying different leaves, stems, and root of different medicinal plants. Yes, obviously those comes as a research, stepping stones of research. So I can say that you can do your research in your masters. Obviously, I saw some students doing research even in their final year of BPharm also. So they collect different medicinal plants, and they extract the active constituent from the medicinal plant, and they test in animal models to prove their efficacy. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
great.
you can.
Okay. Yeah, apart from this career-wise, I wanted to go in the personal things and all. What kind of books do you read? I mean, to improve your career, or I mean, like starting education time or now, do you read any books which will improve your knowledge points or something?
Majorly, I spend most of the time reading self-development books. Gupta garu.
Okay.
So, Seven Habits of the Effective People, 5 a.m. Club, sometimes Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, some financial books. Yeah.
Can you share any of good words from them? I mean, like one word, if I ask you, this is what I learned and I wanted to share with viewers and all, if you can share some points.
I can say good words in the sense, actually, financial education is also very much important for a person. Unfortunately, the financial education is not as a curriculum in our books, which we come up and we learn at a later stage. But what I feel is financial education is something that need to be taught right from the kids, when people are kids. Like what happens, what is the magic of compounding, how money works, how money grows, what are different investment options, how you can invest for your future. So the kind of financial education has to start right from when the kids, from kids itself. So when you grow up, you start earning, and what you do without proper financial education, you start spending whatever you get, right? So instead of saving or investing, you start spending everything. So by the time you understand the importance of financial education, you would have lost a good amount of time. So that's what, whether it is really worth buying a house, or should I rent, or should I invest that, or should I buy a car, or should I invest that in mutual funds or stock market. So that kind of financial education is also very much important.
So apart
of course,
from
your curriculum subjects, everything is there, but that helps to some extent to get a job. So once you get the job, again, your aim will be different, target would be different for a financial stability and being independent. So I also say that that is also very much important.
correct, that is true. I mean, like education is a part of one. I mean, education job is one level. After that, you have to be know that how to invest and whom to be, whom to you how to give the money and all. There are some people they earn a lot, and after that they don't know how to spend. Finally, how it will end up the same amount of money what their friends are doing in the village level and all. That's true. Yeah,
Exactly. So my answer, what I told is an answer to your point. Like, what is that one particular sentence you liked in the books, right? That's what your question is.
yeah,
So
yeah.
where is reading Rich Dad and Poor Dad? That's what it says. Like, see how much you invest because you earn. People are in a rat race to earn, and spend and pay your loans, but also develop a parallel stream of income so that it will take care even though you are not in a condition to work. That's what the objective should be. So
Correct.
that is what Rich Dad and Poor Dad teaches us.
Are you implementing that in your life?
I'm implementing, but started late. That's what
Okay.
I feel. I should have started much before. As soon as I started my career, I should have started proper investment.
Okay, that's true. That's never be late. Yeah, never be late. Yeah. Next thing is yeah, you moved out from the Synergy to Dr. Reddy Lab. So as a program
It's a
manager, right? Yeah.
not synergy, it's
Yeah.
international.
Yeah. Yeah. And the next you moved out to project manager, right? Project manager in the Reddy Labs and all. How did you get the opportunity,
Absolutely.
and what kind of challenges you have faced there in Dr. Reddy's labs?
That's a fantastic company to work, Dr. Reddy's. So definitely, so it gives a lot of opportunities, gives a very good respect to the people. Every employee is treated as an associate and not an employee-employer relation. You don't have not a senior junior. Everyone is treated very equally. So that's what I liked. And of the opportunity I got through some of the contacts in project management. So I got there and I really liked the role which I was offered. And it was like developing new products for the US market. So definitely, yeah, I worked in Dr. Reddy's and it was a very wonderful organization.
So, what are your learnings? If you can go to one or two points, so for the viewer's point of view in this career, what I mean, like our interviews is going to be seen by number of various kind of people. So, what kind of learnings you got it from that Reddy's lab job? If you can share, that will be great.
Not only Reddy's, so I can generalize it to all industries. Start asking, keep exploring, start asking questions. Don't limit yourself in your area. Just understand what is happening beyond your work. So don't be like, this is my work, I am doing my work and it's done. Don't expand your knowledge. So then only you will be growing. What is the next level of responsibility? You understand. You try to contribute. You try to stretch yourself. Obviously, it will open a number of doors. So for your growth, definitely, that's what I say for everyone. Be bold, be confident, start asking questions, start expressing your views, start discussing with people, peers as well as your seniors. Start supporting your juniors. Obviously, wherever you are there, you will be growing in that organization.
Yeah, Mr. Vijay, I wanted to ask one point. You said that start asking. Many people having a fear to talk their boss and ask questions. So how do you overcome that? I mean, like if you are saying that you might have doing it. So normally our tendency is asking dad is also the challenge. Asking something you wanted to ask, you can't go and ask your dad directly. You'll go and say mom, and with that channel you are going to get it done. So now in career wise, if somebody wanted to ask how they can improve that career wise build.
Yeah. So what I can say is actually how courageously you speak with your seniors or with your management depends on the kind of culture the organization sets in. There are a few MNCs which have an open policy of speaking, whoever it is, whether there is a meeting happening, any whatever the junior can question the vice president or the chairman. So it depends on the kind of culture the organization is setting up. Basically, there are a few industries which are very monotonous. You cannot question someone, or it is not treated as a respectful way if you question someone in the meetings. Or or you can talk to them, you can take their permission, you can talk to them, and they can clarify your doubts. So to some extent, it is how the culture is set by the organization, and to some extent, it is left for you, like how open, like how you are brought up also influences that. If you are brought up in a very conventional way, then you will not be open to speaking, or you will not be questioning the seniors. So what I suggest is like start speaking, start asking, start clarifying your doubts. So start with small. Obviously, you will build up that. So that's what I have.
Yeah, I wanted to ask,
So
say some points here to the viewers. If
yeah,
you are, I mean, if you may think that your manager may think you are asking them, but if you start asking that, your manager knows about what kind of you have it. If you are not asking that,
yeah,
manager is not aware of that you have that capabilities, and you start telling your capabilities. This is what my capabilities. This is what I want. So that will help you to your manager to look after your challenge, new roles for you. That's what I can say. That.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So
Next.
unless you speak with your manager, he will not understand, right? You have an interest in that particular area, or you want to know more, then only even he can give you an opportunity. For example, you are working on a project A, and you are interested in project B. Unless you go and ask him that I'm interested in this, I am interested in that particular subject, so I want to contribute on that. Unless you go and ask, he will not be knowing. So he might be thinking, okay, whatever I am assigning, he's happy with that and he is doing. So that open communication has to happen.
Yeah. Next, you moved out to Sun Pharma, right? Some Pharma and all. So there you worked with the US market and all. So people now itself,
Yeah.
they wanted to, by the time you joined in the companies and all, when you are doing that job, that time you might have know, you might have aware of what is the US companies, how they deal it and all. You might have got the knowledge and all. If students now itself, they wanted to improve their knowledge and all, what kind of areas you can suggest them to go through it?
So what I suggest is you understand the drug regulatory guidances. You understand like which country is having which regulatory authority and what are their guidance for approving the product or giving the market authorization for the product. What kind of studies need to be done? All this information is openly available. If you go to US FDA, you can get that information, like what kind of studies. So for a drug to get approved in the market, what kind of studies need to be done, and what is that efficacy study, how many clinical trials, because basically it depends on changes from each drug to drug, what category of drug it depends, and what kind of formulation you are giving, like whether it is a solid dosage form like a tablet or capsule or a syrup, or whether it's an injectable, or whether it's a topical formulation or an aerosol. It depends like what kind of formulation. So the guidance has changed for each formulation. So you understand that, you understand like what kind of guidance is need to be met, and what kind of studies need to be done. So upon that, it gives you a very fair understanding like what need to be done. So once you have that understanding, you will the process will be very easy for you. The whole drug discovery and development process would be very easy. So that basic understanding you need to develop by from the literature.
Yeah. I mean, you mean to say that college onwards, you start understanding of US having a different regulatory rules and
Exactly.
all.
Getting to the job and learning. So you need to understand right from, because that is a part of curriculum in your B pharmacy and your M pharmacy, right? So you need to have that understanding right as a student.
Yeah. And having said this many years, uh, you having 20 years of experience. In this 20 years experience, what kind of new points or career valuable
Yeah.
points you got it? If you can share, please share.
Yeah. Through also 15 years of experience I was having. So since I'm into project management, I worked in different areas, but it will always help you to develop your core expertise in one area and develop management skills. So obviously, choose a good organization which gives you enough exposure and enough opportunity to grow. And it's not for money. You initial first few years you need to work to understand, to develop, to become a subject matter expert in that particular area which you are chosen. So once you have that subject matter expertise, you will be respected everywhere and you can command the salary you need. So I have seen many people who has a subject matter experts and companies run behind them. They don't want to lose them actually. So what I say is, don't run behind salaries. You first find your interest and gain your expertise in that particular area. So in your initial years, I suggest you to focus in building that subject matter expertise.
So how they can improve that subject matter expertise, if they wanted to do. So can you give me dotted line of how they can, somebody students like me, they're at college level, they doesn't know how they have to improve it and all. Can you, from your experience, you can share, or from your education point also you can share.
Yeah, see, that's not a big thing. You are working, right? So you are working, you try to understand why you are doing this. When you are doing something, when you are asked to do something, understand the background, understand the science behind it. You start asking, you start understanding, you start reading books, literature, and then obviously you will definitely become a subject matter expert in that area. It may take 5 to 10 years, but definitely if you start understanding the reason behind what you are doing, you can become a subject matter expert. So don't blindly do anything. Question your seniors, understand why it is being done, and you also read a lot of literature, and then obviously you will become a subject matter expert over 5-10 years. It's not that difficult if you are really interested.
Yeah. So from your interview, I got this point: be subject matters, and not only education, focus on financial matters also, and how you have to improve your financial capabilities and all. So starting from career, you have to focus on it. Parallelly, just develop your career and do your job. Parallelly, you have to have one more track which will safeguard you. That's what I got it from your interview. Thank you for your valuable time and giving time slot for us and sharing with all. Many of the persons who don't like to share their views, but you are the one of the person who came forward to sharing your views. Thank you once again on behalf of viewers. Thank you.
Thanks, Gupta Garu. Thanks for the opportunity. Definitely.
Thank you.
It's a very nice platform to share my views. Thanks for coordinating.
Thank you.